Welcome back. We are here live at the National Action Network Saturday morning broadcast. Live on WLIP 1190 AM New York's Gospel Station. I'm Minister Kirsten John Ford, the Northeast Regional Director for the National Action Network, and it has been my pleasure and honor to host you all this morning, filling in for our Executive Vice President and General Counsel, Attorney Michael Hardy, who is traveling. We have come to the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment of truth. Without further ado, he is one of the most prominent activists leading this country. He's the man who's not afraid to speak up for the voiceless and stand firm on his beliefs. He's the soul reacher. He's the liberation seeker. He is a true teacher. He's the president and founder of the National Action Network and has devoted his entire life to helping our people. He's none other than our very own president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice,
no peace.
No justice,
No peace.
no justice,
No peace.
no justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Hug the person next to you, tell them you love them. Change Choir, give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally, and for you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIP AM in New York, and you watching Facebook Live around the country, we are happy to be with you another Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Minister Kirsten John Ford. And of course, in his absence, the Executive Vice President of National Action Network, Attorney Michael Hardy. Let me give him a hand. Let me say that while we give him a hand, let me recognize the this week we had a birthday from one of our early members, I think came first year we started, Brother Stan Mallory had a birthday this year. Let me say that we dedicate this broadcast to the memory again of Dr. Jack Felder and Mrs. Leatrice Sutton, both of whom made their transitions. And I think that it is always important that one of the reasons that one of my goals that I'm committed to is building a civil rights museum here, is that we cannot allow people that have been so important and so extremely necessary to our story to be forgotten and cast aside, because folks will not ever know what to do if they don't know what they are a continuation of. And when you think of the Sutton family and what they have done in this city around black political empowerment and black economic empowerment, when you think of the nationalist movement and the scholar and intellectual movement that came out of that Jack Felder symbolized, that is an important part of where we are. You know, a lot of folks think that the black intellectuals or the black intelligentsia is only Ivy League school trained blacks. You know, that's something we don't talk enough about, is that who you see on television is just the Ivy League trained black. You would think that that is the extent of black intelligentsia. So those that came from an Afrocentric point of view are not even considered, when they were the ones that really shaped a mentality that led to black empowerment. Half of the blacks that we see on television that speak as the black intelligentsia never even taught in a black college. I never understood how we have such Ivy League nationalists. I mean, you know, I see Salam Ishmael, one of our great organizers based in New Jersey. When he and I was coming along, I mean, we understood the difference between those that went to Howard and those that went to Harvard. Now, it doesn't mean folk that went to Harvard had nothing to say. But it does mean that folk that went to Howard should not be silenced too. But you got guys that define the black agenda that never even taught summer school at Howard, just total Harvard, Princeton, Harvard. But I'm going to define the black agenda. Well, you got to first include black folk in our agenda. So I wanted to reiterate that as we remember Dr. Felder and the voice that was given to us and the voice that was raised and given strength to us by the Sutton family. Give a big hand to the Sutton family. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget that tomorrow morning, watch me on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Besides from that, I want to say that at 10 o'clock, I'll be speaking at St. Mark's Remnant Ministries, my cousin, Pastor Roderick Pearson's birthday. I'll be preaching at 10 o'clock in Central Iceland. And you that are in the Long Island area, I'll be there They meet at the New York Institute of Tech Student Activity Center, and I'll be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So right after I get off the television and the radio, I'm headed to Central Islip for my cousin. And I want all of our Long Island friends to meet us there. Let us not also forget that on Tuesday night, everybody say Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Right here at the House of Justice, we are having a screening of Who Killed Tupac. And A&E has run a 6-part series on Who Killed Tupac Shakur. And it is hosted by civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. Well, Ben Crump will be here Tuesday night, as well as Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. And I'm going to moderate the panel. The doors open at 7. We're going to start at 8 sharp. And then we're going to watch the last episode on the A&E of Who Killed Tupac here at the House of Justice this Tuesday. That's this coming Tuesday, the 19th. 7 o'clock, the doors open. And our huddle, National Action Network huddle, and our local chapter is hosting that as Dr. Dyson and Attorney Crump and I are here. Then on Christmas Day, that's a week from Monday, we are going to be serving food here, serving dinner, we're eating dinner. I need volunteers. Everybody join us here on Christmas Day and be part of our feeding seniors, feeding the homeless, as well as giving toys to youngsters. And that's on Christmas Day. Let's welcome to our, welcome again our Impact Television National Audience. So I want everybody to be mindful. Christmas Day, the mayor, everybody comes by, and we eat with those that don't have somebody to eat with, seniors, homeless, feed hot meals, and it is the way we ought to be celebrating Christmas. I'm going to talk about that next Saturday. It has been a hijacking of Christmas by those that act as though you're celebrating the birth of Christ with the commercializing and the paganism that has dominated this holiday. This ought to be about doing something Christ-like. And where you have been able to in many ways trivialize this, that has nothing to do with a commitment that is Christ-like, to me is sinful. So I want folks to spend Christmas here at the house. Every Christmas, we're here. And we're doing what it is that we think falls in line with what Christ would want. I want to thank all of you that helped to distribute turkeys. We gave away hundreds of free turkeys this past Thursday night for those that want a staple at home for their Christmas dinner. And I think that, one guy came and asked me, now what I'm going to do about candy yams and all. I said,
Mercy.
first of all, you don't need none. But second of all, you can come eat and get all of that here on Christmas Day. Now, I want us to be focused on, as we looked at the events of the week, let me first address this. Everyone said that it would never be possible to elect a Democrat for the U.S. Senate in Alabama.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's right.
Everyone's prediction was that a Democrat could not win the Senate seat in Alabama.
All right.
They talked it so much so that some of us would say, they had me thinking, well, there ain't no way that's going to happen. And our chapters down there were saying, we are nonpartisan, but get the vote out. And A lot of our ministers, Reverend Tommy Lewis and others, working hard. And I'm going to deal with it tomorrow morning on Politics Nation, my MSNBC show. I'm going to have the young new mayor of Birmingham. I'm talking about it. One of the things that there's several lessons that you need to take from the Alabama election, special election. One is, do not listen to the predictors, listen to the prophets. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about the fortune tellers. There's a difference between fortune tellers and prophets. Fortune tellers look at your palm and tell you something you already know. I'm looking at your palm. Your husband comes home late. You already know that. Give me another $100, I'll tell you where he was. That's fortune telling. Prophets are those that speak in a prophetic vibe and spirit and rhythm that comes from the power of God that sets the time. You ever hear old folks talk about in God's own time? Yes. Well, there's a difference between those that can read the time and those that hustle you in the time. Hello. The rise of hate and the rise of bigotry and the rise of misogyny and the rise of homophobia, all of that has happened as a backlash to the years of Obama and the years of giving people health care and giving people some police reform and criminal justice reform. If you read anything in history, Rob Ellison talked about it, to every movement forward, particularly black advancement, there's always going to be a backlash. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Prophets understand that. Yes. Yes, sir. So if I make move A, I can expect pushback. That's right. You can always tell those that are experienced in struggle, because they always understand what's going to happen. That's right. Incident happened at City X. Well, I can tell before I go in, family call, certain thing happened, we want y'all Reverend Al. I can tell you before we go in that you have local folks saying what they come for. That's right. You're going to have the media saying we don't need outside agitators. You got the right wing saying here they come stirring something up. And you have other folks saying we glad you're there. You know that going in because experience gives you some reason to know where stuff is going to go. Now, if you understand that with Trump and with this whole crowd is a backlash to Obama, you also understand that after the backlash, there will be the next wave of those that will not tolerate where the backlash brings us. That's right. Talk about it. What they got caught is in the backdrop of the backlash in Alabama. They thought they could ram so much through with a man that was bigoted and biased and racist that they thought that they could go as far as they wanted to go. Right. But even the most conservative right-wing white in Alabama said, wait a minute now. You talking about a man that might violated my little daughter? That's a little too far. Way too far. Now, that's one lesson. Another lesson is black folk only voted for Obama because Obama was a charismatic black figure. And we ain't got no Obama out there in politics, so they ain't gonna vote like that. They voted at a higher percentage. That's right. Tuesday night in Alabama than they voted for Obama in Alabama. And last time I looked, Doug Jones wasn't black or charismatic. But we will vote if you give us a reason to vote. Black folk ain't stupid. Even if we didn't know what we were voting for, we knew what we was voting against. And we came out in big numbers. Now, here was the choice. You had one man that had been accused by 8 different women of violating them when they were children, running against another man who went to court 20 years later and prosecuted Klansmen that had killed 4 black children in the 16th Street Baptist Church. One man protected young black girls. Another man was accused of violating young white girls. That's your choice. So you got evangelical Christian preachers defending the guy on the other side. Well, I want to know what they're going to preach tomorrow morning. I really want to see what text you take. How do you explain that? Well, right now, it was only accusation. Well, that's true. And I don't believe anybody accused is necessarily guilty. And I believe everybody should be given the right to due process. But if a man was so notorious that they banned him from the mall in his own hometown, and he was a prosecutor and a judge, imagine you were a judge from the mall in his own hometown. You got to have a real bad reputation. Now, you know, my mother is from Alabama. I got my brother and sister still live down there. The mall is about the best and only thing happening in a town in Alabama. You know, it ain't the mall like here, where you got 4 or 5 malls you can go to. The mall is everything. Everybody wake up in the morning and say, "Gone to the mall." Where you gonna eat? Gone to the mall. Where you gonna watch the picture show? Gone to the mall. Everything runs in the mall. And this part of Alabama is the farm and the mall. If they ban you from the mall, that is a serious statement in Alabama. The other thing is that one of the things I was talking to a documentarian this week, and it was interesting to me how people get Minister Ford caught up in the wrong things. He was saying to me during the documentary, was here the other night when we was giving out the free turkeys. He said to me, "Reverend Al, I was watching you speak at Michael Jackson's funeral and James Brown's funeral and this and that, and it was great charge, I'm sure, to you that you did both of those funerals." And I said, "Well, a good honor for me. I don't know about no charge speaking at nobody's funeral, but the honor for me was speaking at Rosa Parks' funeral. Because though I love James Brown like a father and I love Michael, I am in civil rights. It was an honor to speak at the mother's civil rights funeral. The first one was in Montgomery, Alabama. So as I was watching the results the other night, I'm thinking of how Rosa Parks started the bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama. A few years later, 4 girls lost their life in the 16th Street Baptist Church in the bombing in Alabama. And here we are with Donald Trump in the White House, using the power of the White House, trying to reaffirm the elements of bigotry that this candidate had. And just like out of nowhere, Rosa Parks and others defeated segregation, people in Alabama linked into the spirit of the ancestors.
That's right.
And in an era where all seemed lost, struck a blow for freedom in the land that we started this whole modern movement. That's why I keep telling y'all every Saturday morning that it is not about listening to the wrong kind of advice and counsel, looking for a person rather than looking for the purpose. The purpose will make the person. Got a lot of young brothers and sisters coming up in NAM. Don't get caught up in your profile before you caught up in your purpose. Your profile, your package, how you look, how you talk, how you walk, how you think, how you set your brain. That is to surround and house your purpose. If your purpose is your profile, you'll never go nowhere. You like an actor without a script. You just somebody looking in the mirror. If you gonna act, you need a script and be able to perform. Otherwise, you just walk around looking at yourself all the time.
That's right. Waste of time. We hear you, Rick.
Rosa Parks was not a great orator. Rosa Parks was not a tall, well-refined, well-educated woman. Rosa Parks was an ordinary woman, a seamstress. You pass in the street, never look back, saying, who was that? But Rosa Parks had a purpose. She was in NAACP. She was convinced segregation was wrong, and she was willing to pay the price to stand up to Jim Crow. Now, if she went by today's standards, she'd have went to a brand consultant and say, how should I dress? How should I do my hair? Do you have a makeup person? All that. And got ready for her hour in history. And she probably would not have made history. See, the reason why a lot of y'all can't get off the ground is you're so busy getting yourself ready for a lift rather than get involved in what lifts you. You posing to be chosen rather than making a choice. If you make the choice of doing what's right, everything else will come with it. That's why somewhere I read, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. Y'all trying to get the addition without the seeking. God come see me yesterday. Real man, I want to just study under you. I want to be like you. Well, first of all, I got a whole bunch of folk under me. You need to join the organization. And second of all, you cannot study being me, because no matter how much you study being me, you ain't going to be me. And I'm flattered, but I ain't crazy. You can't study being somebody else. Thirdly, a lot of the me you see now ain't the me that I started at.
That's it. That's right.
But I tell you where it came from when I chose to answer my call.
Amen.
The rest was added.
That's right.
And you got to first make up your mind not to follow me or duplicate me, but to follow Jesus and what is right. God got something for you, just like he had something for me. So the best thing I can do for you, or you can roll with me, but the best thing I can do for you is for you to do what I did, is ask God to accept me and give me my role. Well, yeah, but I keep being inclined to you. I got that. But let me tell you something. One of the reasons why I submitted to a calling of God is I did not make myself. Therefore, I do not believe that God created me and didn't have something in mind. I didn't sit up somewhere and say, now I'm going to make a baby boy, black in Brooklyn. Bring him out October 3rd, the year they did Brown versus Bordeaux. And boom, boom. I didn't do that. I was about 2 or 3 years old before I figured out that I was here and what my name was. So that must have meant somebody else had figured all that out. Hello. I had feet and legs for several months before I could even walk. So I couldn't have made up all of that myself because I had stuff I didn't know what to use. So God provided me with all of that. He already had a purpose. And I need to connect to the purpose. Now, there are going to be signs and there are going to be examples and role models along the way. But don't become the role model, use them.
Yes.
I remember a lady used to drive, and every time she would be looking at the signs, she would look so hard she'd be done drove up on the sidewalk. Some of y'all be overrunning the signs in life rather than take the signs as the direction to keep going down the course. And that's what Rosa Parks symbolized. She answered her call, got arrested. It sparked a boycott. There's no way that they knew when they called for that boycott in Montgomery that it would even work. Y'all look for these infallible strategies. I am now, well, Democrats going to win the midterm because of Alabama. You don't know what's going to happen. From one day to the next. But if you do what's right, it has a power of its own. All the battles that we've been in, I didn't know what battle was going to make national news or not. People talk about Sharpton and them always out there trying to get a headline. I know for many cases they never had a headline. And I bought some that for years, Trayvon, they still talking about. You go cause it's right. God will make the decision on what will ignite something or not. Rosa Parks had no idea that it would change the history of this country. And that is the fervor you need now to fight. So those are some of the lessons out of that. The other thing, let me tell you something. I want y'all in the middle of all of this. I've been watching the Me Too movement, started by a young sister that marches with us every year in Selma. And it's a great movement where now it is empowering women. But I also want y'all, as we watch these daily headlines, to watch what is not being talked about.
Come on.
Yes, the tax bill we know is wrong and bad. They've taken down corporations making billions now, going to make trillions. They can take a tax, the tax rate for corporations going down from 37 or 39%, depending on the corporation, down to 21%. and gonna give you a little percentage for 5 years as they get a permanent reduction, pass-through money, not taxed, no estate tax. It's atrocious, and they have the votes to pass it, and it will restructure tax law in this country for a long time. But at the same time, which is as dangerous, is they're slipping through confirming federal judges.
Yes, sir.
Who has permanent, lifelong terms. They had one guy that Trump nominated that had never ever been in a federal court proceeding. They're gonna make him a federal judge, and he didn't even know federal law. And a Republican was asking him the question, well, do you know what this means? Well, no, I'll get to that. I'm facing a lot in the future. What do you know? No, I don't know that either, but we'll figure it out. How you gonna have an on-the-job training federal judge? But when the objective is to turn the judiciary totally to the right at the expense of civil rights, civil liberty, women's rights, gender rights, LGBTQ rights. The agenda is it doesn't matter what you don't know. You are there to turn back toward another way. But nobody talking about that. They had a memo come out in the Washington Post where they now said at the CDC that this is disease control now, that there are 7 words that you can't send up here as we deal with 2018 funding. One is diversity. Don't use that word. Another is transgender. Another is fetus. This is written right now. Don't send us nothing that says this. Another is vulnerable. But wait a minute, now y'all gonna deal with disease control, but y'all are not going to try and deal with servicing vulnerable people. Can't call them that. What they're telling you is that we're building a government that we don't even want to mention diversity, vulnerability. We're going to take the language and exclude people by the words we say. You be condemned by the words in your mouth. If you change the language, let me tell you something. I learned very young. Language and words become important. If you don't deal with language and words, you will not penetrate the thoughts of people.
That's right. Tell them that.
That's why years ago I got in this whole open conflict with some of our hip-hop artists about the N-word, because you call yourself something, you will embody that.
That's right.
Right. Tell them, Rev.
You become
That's right.
what you call yourself.
That's right. Tell them, Rev.
If they can say to the CDC, don't even mention the vulnerable, don't even mention diversity, they're telling you the policies won't address it, we won't even have you mention it here. I ain't talking about now 1950. I'm out of Alabama, Rosa Parks in the 50s. I'm talking about you and I today. I'm talking about the folks sitting around right now. Talking about, do we still need civil rights? Well, I don't know if we need that anymore. Well, if you don't, they get ready to erase you. If they erase diversity, if they got the Supreme Court stacked where they vote it illegal to even entertain race in affirmative action, what do you think will happen to your job when you wake up and they wipe out any diversity at your job and you want to complain talking about they done fired all the blacks? Well, you are no longer part of the discussion. And you running around defending something that's going to lead to your demise. And then let me tell you something, this ain't personal. They'll do it to anybody. I don't care how much you talk. If you allow it to happen, it'll happen to you. You don't believe it? Ask Amoroso.
Tell him, man. Tell him, man. Tell him, man.
Now, I'm not picking on Amoroso. I know Amoroso. Amoroso was a minister in Reverend K.W. Tudor's church, young man heads out LA office. I know Amoroso. She went in to the Trump administration, thought she knew Donald Trump from The Apprentice, and that she could try and talk to him. We argued with her, but she was convinced, and I believe she was sincere. Come down convention defending him.
Right?
I told Amoroso, don't defend him, just get up, tell everybody you's a member, and you're going to do the best you can. No, first 100 days, we did this, that.
Hey, yeah.
They don't want defense. They don't want to hear from sincerity. They have an agenda. And when you get in the way of their agenda, when you annoy them too much, they will tell you you're all right with us, but we'll see you later. In fact, we just invalidated the badge. You can't even get back in here. Because it is about their agenda. Folks say to me, I have two daughters, Dominique and Ashley. Dominique is the more soft-hearted when it comes to other people. You know, Dominique stopping for a bird fall out the nest. She'll get out the car and find a nest for the bird. That's Dominique. And you call next day, she go, oh, but the bird. Baby done attacked me all over town, she ain't read that. The bird. Ashley is sensitive to people, but she's like, let's get something done. Now, you got to know the nature of folk that you deal with. So I know whenever Dominique tells me some story about somebody suffering, you can cut it in half because she's going to over-dramatize. And Ashley going to say, let's get something done. She's going to speed up to the get done. So you got to slow her down. And you got to cut half what Dominique said. You just know this coming in. Now, it's very funny and very true. Now, I say that to say that you got to understand, I tell them, that everybody that is around you is not on your team. I want y'all to get this now. You watch sports. I tell this to Ash the other day. There was, a few years ago, in the Miami Heat, a dream team. Is that right? They had LeBron James, they had Wade, they had the dream team. Couldn't beat them. But after a season or two, LeBron decided to go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers and played for the team in his hometown. Y'all with me? He and Wade and the guys in Miami remained friends. But when they got on the court to play, and they were still with the Heat, and he was with the Cavaliers, they played against each other to win because they were no longer on the same team. People argue with me about why I don't deal with folk certain ways, why I'm not passing them the ball because they ain't on my team. Why would I pass somebody on the other team the ball? Because if they score, it will add the points for them. It will not score for my team. And y'all get too busy feeling sorry for folks that left the team. I've been to the locker room. Got my uniform on. You wasn't in the locker room because you're not on my team. And if you can't stay loyal to your team, then you stay off the court. I was growing up, wanted to be in civil rights, already was a boy preacher. Mother brought me to Reverend William Jones and Jesse Jackson. At 12, 13 became their youth director. I chose a team. Folks in my age group, my contemporaries, said we more militant. That's too moderate. Sellout. But I chose a team. People on the right said it was too militant. But I chose a team. I don't mess with folk that don't know whose side they're on. 1 minute you this, next minute you that. 1 minute you got this uniform on, next minute another uniform. 1 minute you got this cap on, next minute backward cap. Every day you got something else. You don't know who you are. Don't mess with folk that don't know who they are. What am I saying? I know who Trump is. So I fought him in New York. I'll fight him in the White House. He is not on our team. There ain't no use in me trying to deal with somebody else. If we deal heads up, we are dealing as opponents on the court that's trying to outscore each other. Some of y'all won't take a stand because you're afraid you can't win. You will never win until you are strong enough to risk losing.
That's right. Teach them right. That's right.
Say that again. Somebody in the barbershop, you can get this. Listen. You will never win till you lose the fear of risking losing.
That's right.
Once you say, I'm going to risk the loss, I'm going to risk the humiliation, I'm going to risk the embarrassment, but I'm going for the win with all I got. I may lose, but I'm going to fight anyhow. You can win if you lose the fear of losing.
That's right.
That's why some of y'all can't find people in your life, be your mate, because you're too busy talking about, well, I might get hurt. You will never find happiness running away from hurt.
That's right. It's true. That's a fact.
Well, I just don't know. Well, you won't ever know.
We won't have.
Life is about risk.
It's about to.
But if you know who you are, and you stand for what you believe, the risk will never be devastating because you'll be able to overcome whatever failures and losses in life because you're not defined by any of that.
That's right.
Thank you.
If one loss defines you, you wasn't a winner anyhow.
That's right.
if one knockdown defines you, you had no business in the ring.
That's right.
Greatest champions been knocked down. What made them great is they got back up after they got knocked down.
That's right.
You afraid to take a blow,
Right.
you'll never win a fight.
That's right.
So I say all that to say, this team that wants to change the language, that wants to change the trajectory of the country, one of the reasons why I stood by and supported and fought to defend Barack Obama is because I disagreed with some things. I wanted to see more aggression and other things. But he had turned the trajectory of the country where poor people and black people and women and people without health care mattered again. And the direction was more important than the specifics. If we kept the direction, we could keep working on the specifics. Because we had gone through Bush and Bush Jr. and even some parts of Clinton that the direction was wrong. And here came this man that changed the direction. I knew what I was doing because that was the team I was on.
That's right. There you go.
Now you got a man that is trying to push the whole direction another way. And you got people that are sanctifying that. You got preachers that are blessing that. You got moralists that are arguing that. I don't tell you, last week some of y'all saw it. Preacher going to debate me about the righteousness of Trump's proposal. Talking about why don't y'all talk to him? I've been talking to him 35 years. He ain't on this team. Somebody tell you what they do to women. I ain't talking about what somebody told you they heard him say. You hear the tape of him say. Somebody tell you that there's a moral equivalent between neo-Nazis marching and those marching against a statue of a Confederate general who wanted to enslave us. Somebody tell you that Confederate statues are our nation's heritage and history. Somebody tell you that DNA proved 5 young men are innocent of a vicious rape in New York, and he said give them the death chamber anyhow. I know what side he's on. And I'm not confused. I made up my mind when I was a little boy. I'd follow what was right. They used to sing a song in the Civil Rights Movement, which side are you on? And the reason why some of you can't get nowhere is you try to play every side. I'm going to save my bet. How many preachers talking about, I got to cover myself because so-and-so may win or so-and-so, so I'm going to play all sides. When you play all sides are really playing you. You think you're playing all sides, but all sides are playing you because if you don't stand for nothing, you become something that is useful to everybody. And they all will use you like a cheap piece of meat because you stand up and are worth nothing. Every day you wake up, every morning you set foot on the floor, you ought to first thank God for another day, and you ought to secondly define who you are. First thing I do in the morning, I thank God for a day, because I know I didn't have one coming.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
First thing I do, because I know I didn't have one coming. Because I know if he just added up my faults when I was asleep, I'd have been gone. So I thank him for excusing me. Then I define what he brought me another day for. Who am I and what I'm going to do? Then I go on down to the gym and work out so I'm prepared to serve. Some of y'all can't be no service because you ain't prepared.
You ain't prepared.
They told me the other day I can hardly get around. I I said, did you ever work out when you was young? No, but what did you think was going to happen? Sat around eating pig feet till it got in your feet. What did you think was going to happen? Find your purpose. Prepare yourself to serve and become that purpose. And decide which team you're on. One of the reasons I love and respect a lot of these young folk around us, they chose a team. Last 5-6 years, you had 3 different movements come through. But they stayed right with the team because seasons are going to bring things. When they're going to bring snow. But snow going to melt sooner or later. Spring going to bring flowers. But the sun may burn the flowers off the stem. Then the summer going to bring sunshine and bring sun tans. But the fall going to take the tan off your face. There are those that are seasonal activists. But then there are those that are year-long that can make it through whatever season, that can stand the bitter winter and stand the hot summer, that are a long-distance runner. Ain't nothing seasonal about me. I was born and I chose to fulfill what I was born to do. That's why there's a difference between being appointed and being anointed. That's why I look back over my life. I like Job's story, I like Jeremiah's story, but I love my story. When I was a little boy, Bishop Washington appointed me, Junior Pastor Washington Temple. Later, Reverend Jones and Jesse Jackson appointed me, Youth Director of Operation Breadbasket. But as I got older and ran into life's traps, and I could face the temptation of whether I wanted to go and stay in show business with James Brown, I said, no, I'm going back and fight at home. And when I faced jail and faced accusations and faced bad press and faced a knife in my chest, they didn't appoint me to that. I was anointed. My anointing took me where my appointment couldn't take me. My anointing said, if God be for me, it's more than the whole world against you. My anointing said, weeping may endure for a night. But if you hold out, if you don't run with the other team, joy coming in the morning. Choose your team, fight your purpose. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. It's cold right now, but the sun will shine again. Stand up, stand up. Be who God made us to be. Everybody say it. Everybody say it. Everybody say it. There may be someone today that's here that never joined National Action Network. You hear us on the radio, you watch us on television, but never became a member of the organization and an active part of what we do here. If you're here today and never joined, just come down to me right now. Let me sign you up to the National Action Network. Just come on to me. Everybody singing. Everybody singing. Everybody singing. Yeah. Sing it like you mean it. We want justice. Got to have justice. Yeah. All right.
Thank you for viewing.
I'm gonna raise our offering, moving quickly. Don't forget Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. As the doors open, we're gonna start right at 8. Attorney Ben Crump, Professor Michael Eric Dyson, and then we're gonna watch Who Killed Tupac after the session. Then next week, 11 a.m. sharp, we want to deal with our feed the hungry, feed the homeless, feed the seniors. That's next Monday, Christmas Day. I want to give our offering, and we're moving on. I see Sister Nunez got on her Kwanzaa hat. That laid back like Santa, but it's brown, so that's a little Kwanzaa look now. Just checking. I'm just checking. I'm trying to keep up with these things. Let us give the best of our ability. I need about 10 people. 10 people that give $100 or more. Come quickly. I need about 10. Sister Cynthia, $100. Attorney Smelton, $100. Brother Grady, $100. Guardians, $100. Come on, I need some more. All right, give me some 50, 50, 50, 50. Come on, 50. 20s. Rodney Jones, $50. 20s. All right now. Got on her level and level and level. Level, level, level. 20s. She wants some leather hospitality today. I know her. All right, now everybody, $1, $5, $10, come on. black man who's also a relative of Eric Garner. As God would have it, the relative of Eric Garner is the president of 100 Black Men. And y'all can go, thank you. And he every year comes and has been with us for years, even before he was president. But he has an announcement he makes every year for our Christmas fund. And he's been our partner in this. Give a hand to the president of 100 Black Men, Brother Garner.
Morning, National Action Network. Good morning. It's cold, snowy morning, but we're going to come here this morning to bring some warmth to your heart. And what the Rev didn't mention that Reverend Foy and I are cousins by marriage. His uncle married one of my aunts in Brooklyn. So the world is small. The world is real small. So on behalf of the founding chapter of 100 Black Men, and Courtney Bennett, our new ED, is here, standing on the legacy of Charlie Rangel, Basil Patterson, Mary Dinkins, and others, Bob Magnum, who formed the Guardians back in 1963. We're here this morning because we're going to go to the end of time with your Reverend, because his ministry is not confined in these four walls. It's in the street where it should be. And so on behalf of the founding chapter of 100 Black Men, for the fourth year in a row, we wanted to stop by to say Merry Christmas, Happy and Prosperous New Year, and present you a check for $5,000 to help you with your Christmas initiative.
In a row, and during this time they've given $5,000 to help us with our feeding and to help us with the network. And you saw some of our young leadership, Kirsten Foy and Kevin McCall, jump in the picture with the big cardboard check. But you see, the older leadership kept the check. Y'all pose for the pictures while I go to the bank.
Profile.
Y'all go for the profile. I'll go for the deposit. Well, I call your name, come forward, Mark Hulse. And on the phone from Atlanta, Susie Coleman, watched the television show and joined on the phone from Atlanta. Mark, face me, thank you for coming. We need more young brothers like you in the movement, and we're glad that you stepped forward today. We are very honored to have you. We're going to give you a new membership orientation. You decide where you want to help lead in this movement and be a part. We need you, we thank you, and you are, as of now, an official member of this organization. And we are part of your family, you are part of ours. Face the audience and welcome him. Welcome him. Welcome him to the National Action Network. Give him a big hand. Give him a big hand. All right. Let us all stand. Oh, man. Rain, rain, I'll see. after me, we're an African. Robbed of our homeland. Robbed of our name. Our language. Our family. Our self-respect. But we shall rise. Never to fall again. Up, you mighty race. We can accomplish what we will. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Shake hands with the one you hold. Shake my hand before you leave.
Got
the kebab. These people don't believe it.
How soon can I get today? I'm on set. I got a mess.
$1. That's a nice order. Well, that's a more places to shop than Christmas money. Give me that tape today, brother. I gotta have that tape. $5. Give me that tape.
I'm waiting for it too.
Oh yeah. We need $4. Right? $4? Give me the tape. Oh, let me. Oh, you wait. Oh, yeah. Let me. No, that's $5 for the tape. I gave you $4 for that.
Okay.
So we're even. Give me the tape. I just bought my tape.
Oh, okay.
$1, $4, that's $5 for my tape.